about this, man. This is a quadratic equation. We're going to solve it by factoring. But I want you to look at, well, how do I know it's quadratic? Well, I know it's quadratic because right there, you see that? X is to the second power. That's what something quadratic means. It's a polynomial where the highest degree of X is second power. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty easy. Now let me pull out my pen here. Now by factoring, remember factoring is the opposite of multiplying out. So the key we want to find here is we want two numbers that when you multiply them, you get +1. And when you, that's the +1 I'm talking about. And when you add them together, you get negative numbers. Now we know they both have to be negative. Both those numbers have to be negative. How do I know that? Because a negative times a negative is the only way I get a positive, and adding them together and it stay negative. Okay. This is going to be X, and this is all going to be equal to 0. They set that equal to the problem for us. That was equal. So the numbers is -1 and -1. Okay. So that's what we have. We have X minus 1 times X minus 1 equals 0. Now what we know is one of these two has to be 0, right? Because that's the only way you can multiply and get 0. Okay. So we know X minus 1 equals 0. And so X has to equal 1. I'm going to type that in. Oh, let me, this ain't too hard. I'm going to go ahead and click that. Type of 1. There it is. We got it right. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next question. All right. And let's clear the screen. Bam. All right. So this one, same thing, real easy here. We know we're going to have X. Let me pull my pen out. There we go. We know we're going to have X. We're going to factor this thing. It's going to be X. One is going to be positive and one is going to be negative. How do I know that? Because that's the only way I can multiply and get a -12. Okay. And all of this is going to equal 0. Okay. And I need two numbers. I'll write it up here. If you can do this in your head, you can, multiply and add. You want two numbers. When you add them together, you get -1. And when you multiply them, you get -12. Well, I know those numbers would have to be 4 and 3. And I'm going to go ahead and say -4 and 3. There we go. And so I got that and I got that. So -4, +3. 0 property rule. I know either X minus 4 equals 0 or X plus 3 equals 0. Because one of these has to be 0. One of these has to be 0. If I'm multiplying and I get this 0, one of these has to be 0. So then that gives me X equals 4 or X equals -3. Okay. Real easy. Nothing too hard. If you got this, Mr. Jones' stuff is too easy. I'm going to say -3 goes up there. 4 goes up there. Check it. Get them all right. All right. So we're going to stop that video. You guys, if you have any other questions, just call me on your con. It's not too hard. We've done this stuff. A lot of review.